Hi, I'm Allie. Join me as I show you how to do some micro macrame, making either a bracelet, anklet, necklace, kind of up to you, but it takes you out of your comfort zone to learn different beading and jewelry making techniques and then to use them in your other projects as well. If you are a kit subscriber, this one's in your best bead box kit edition this month, and it's going to challenge you again to think outside of that box, and you're going to have extra supplies with your cord to make as many as you want. Gather up your materials and let's get started. To begin, we're going to talk about some knotting cord. This is the BeadTec knotting cord in black. And this knotting cord here is what we're going to be using. You can use brown, you can use black. I'm using the 0.8 size. You can also use hemp for this and a bunch of other cording materials, but I really like the BeadTec knotting cord. The reason I like this knotting cord is that it's a macrame nylon cord. It burns really easily, which may sound a little bit weird, but when you get to the end, it's really nice to have that burn. It's always better to have more than not enough. So when it comes to the project for the anklet that we're working on here, I did 64 inches total 3 times. So I'm doing 64 inches total 3 times and then tying that into just a simple loop, just an overhand loop like that, tying it big enough that my button can go through. So my button that I'm working with is going to be a table cut button. I want this big enough that it will go through, but because it's an anklet, you can do a wrap bracelet if you want to. You can do just a regular bracelet too, or even a choker necklace. This one here, you want to make sure that it goes through. And I like the button because it'll stay flat on the design as I'm wearing it, whether or not you wear it as an anklet or whether or not you wear it as a necklace. The first thing we're going to do basically is pin down the top here. You can use a micro macrame board. You can even just use a heavier plier like that to kind of hold it down, which is what I'm going to do to show you. And we have 6 pieces of cord. Each of these cords, again, is about 32 inches long. The longer, or the more knots you make, the longer it's going to be. The less knots you make, you will have less cord, because the more you're knotting, the more cord you use. Now we have currently 4 strands down the middle, and you can see I kind of line them up directly down the middle. I have a strand off to the right and a strand off to the left. We're just going to go through and do here our knot, which is going to be every other design going each other way. I have this nice and close so you can see it, but I generally make it a little bit bigger. The cord that's on the right-hand side is going to come over top of the 4 cords in the middle, just with a little curve there. The cord that's on the left comes over the top of that cord from the right-hand side. See how that is there? The cord from the left that just came over the top goes underneath that 4 black cords and through the center of the right cord. What that's going to do is get almost like a figure 8 in there. See how that is? And then I'm going to pull that knot up to the top. I'm going to do the same thing now, but I'm going to alternate the side. So the cord that's on the left is going to go over top of the 4 middle cords. The cord that's on the right this time goes over top of that left cord. See how it's over the top there? I always say it looks like Snoopy head. My cord on the left is going to go underneath those 4 cords and come out the middle of that loop and through. Give a nice tight pull. That's going to get you that knot. We're going to switch back to the right now. We've got Snoopy's head right there. We're going to take his ear over top of the left. That cord that's over top of the left is going to tuck underneath the 4 cords in the middle here, while also going underneath that cord that came from the right. So I lift it up a little bit. I usually hold it there with my left hand and pinch. Bring that left hand cord through the right loop or through Snoopy's nose and up nice and tight. Going to do the opposite side one more time. And then we're going to do this for about 1/4 inch. Snoopy's nose to the left. Cord on the right goes over top of that left hand cord. So it goes over the top, tucks underneath the 4 cords while staying over the top of that left cord, through the middle of Snoopy's nose, and up, pull nice and tight. You're going to notice a zigzag pattern that happens. I want you to do 4 more knots, and then we're going to split our cords. All right, Now it looks different, I know, because I already did the left-hand side, so I can show you the right-hand side and then how we're going to come together. We are going to put 4 of our beads, and I'm using 6/0s or cubes, something with like a little bit bigger of a hole to do my pattern here. I have some 6/0 seed beads, and we're going to separate our cords. You can see 3 already went to the left, 3 went to the right, and they're kind of curving. That's because we're going to put beads on the outer edge. We're still doing our Snoopy or our square knot here. And what I'm doing is separating 3 cords to the left and 3 cords to the right. I have this over the top here and just kind of hanging out with my weight there. And I'm going to go in right away and I'm going to put on my right hand side my beads. Just the right going up to the top here, letting it hang out there. I'm going to now do my Snoopy nose on the right where the bead is. I have 1 single strand that I'm doing. So I have my Snoopy nose there, my beads on that right cord. Middle cord coming straight down from the middle, and my ear is coming over the top and then through the Snoopy nose. Take it all the way up to the top, and that right bead just hangs out on the right there. I'm going to do Snoopy nose to the left, going over the top there with that Snoopy nose. So Snoopy nose to the left, cord goes over the top, through the middle, and a nice tight pull there. Opposite side, right-hand side Snoopy nose. Left-hand side comes over the top, gets tucked underneath the middle cord, and Snoopy nose again. Nice tight pull. Left side, Snoopy nose, over the top, tuck underneath and through the nose. And knots. And that gets 4 knots in between. So now my next knot here, I'm going to do my bead. Always on the right, never on the left. Whenever I put the bead on, Snoopy's nose starts on that side. Cord goes over the top. And I know for some of you this is out of your norm, especially those of you that are box subscribers and this is in your box. Try it out. Trust me, it's a fun thing. And you start to get ideas for bead embroidery and how to add some of this stuff in. Also, it's a great way to connect to a younger generation too. Snoopy nose, cord goes over the left, tucking underneath and through. When you do this, I like to try to get it nice and tight. You want your cord on the left to be tight next to one another, which is going to create that bowing effect. Then left, over on the right, tuck underneath the middle, and through Snoopy nose. There's knot number 2. Number 1 had the bead on. Number 3, Snoopy nose from the right. Number 4, Snoopy nose from the left. You can see kind of you learn your own technique how to do this. It's easier for you, not on camera, than it is for me. Over to the left. And now we do our next bead. Now see how this is a little bit more separated? We're just going to push that up and that gets a little bit tighter. We're going to do 1 more bead and 1 more rotation. Bead on the right. Now, how do you know if you're on the right or the left for the Snoopy nose? Great question. I know you're asking that. So if you walk away and you need to know, hey, what am I doing here? The bead or the cord that's popping out the top, and it'll make more sense when you can see it a little bit closer. The one that's popping out the top is the one that you just completed Snoopy's nose. So you're switching to the other one. There's a little hump there. That's how you know, oh, it's time to bring that one to the top because it's currently underneath. I do my Snoopy nose, bring it on through. And you saw how I kind of tightened up the cord there after the fact. So don't make it too big of a deal if your cords are a little bit separated and not as close together. There was knot number 1, 2. So my cord's popping up the top here. I know that I just finished that one. 3, 4, because it's underneath and this one's popping up the top. So that's my non-Snoopy nose. Nice tight one. And then I'm going to take my fingers here and push that macrame up towards the top. See how that gets those 3 off to the side here, that they kind of mirror one another? We're going to grab a 4th bead and I put it on the left strand. I'm going to put a 4th bead on the right strand. And now we're going to bring the macrame back together. So the 4 cords that were the middle and the interior cords are going to come together. The ones that are the left are going to sit to the side. We're going to do Snoopy's nose here. Bring this back a little bit. Snoopy's nose is going to be on the right. Pull that nice and tight. Try to get all of those cords to come nice and tight down the middle that you don't see a bunch of them. Snoopy's nose now goes to the left, underneath all those cords and through the nose on the left. Nice and tight. Snoopy's nose now goes on the right. Snoopy's nose now goes on the left. All right, now guess what? It's time to start over. We're going to do the same pattern, but I'm going to switch up beads. I'm going to use some smaller cubes, some bigger cubes. You can even make them intermatching. Now, those of you that are like, but what about if I wanted something in the middle? You run another strand and you can put something down the middle. You can even add these in. So many varieties to do. After each little set here, what I would encourage is just do a little push-up, kind of push up all your pieces there, do a nice little pull, and then get ready for your next set. So I'm going to move this up a little bit, and let's go gold. And I can do different sizes if I want to. I don't have to do 4 beads. I can do 3 beads if I want. Again, once you learn the knots, the world is yours. So I've got 4 of my cubes there. I'll start here with my right side this time, picking out the 3 rightmost cords. And no one's going to really inspect your cords, but I try to make sure, again, the 3 that just kind of naturally go to the right are the ones I'm going to push to the right. Then I'm going to separate out those 3 cords on the left. If you want, you can even do a bead stopper and kind of clip those down. Now on the right-hand side here, we just start again. So on the right-hand side, we're going to take our bead and put our cube on. If you have trouble getting your beads, you can glue the end and clip it down, or you can go in and you can take it and burn it a little bit too. So I've got my bead on the right. So Snoopy's nose always starts on the right. The left goes underneath. You can see how quick your fingers will get at this and nimble. Then you'll start making pot holders and plant holders. These always remind me of my mom because she made a ton of macrame plant holders. And there we go towards the middle there. My Snoopy nose, that one's coming out the top. After I get going here, you can see I don't even have my middle pinned down. It's easier when you're learning. I just learn how to hold it with a different hand or different fingers. In through the middle it goes. I like to show this in full motion rather than just slow motion so you can see what the potential is. Cords popping out here after those knots. I'm always starting my beads with my Snoopy nose on my right, and then when I do the other 3, it's always with the Snoopy nose on the left. So in here again, Snoopy nose gets done. I pull through that middle cord, do it nice and tight. And when I do this one, I try to get it so there's not a lot of extra cord on the interior side. So it's almost going to end up that it's a little bit tighter on the left on this one, a little bit tighter on the right on the next one. And that's because we want that curvature to happen. After we have our multiple knots in between too, we will go in and we will pull our cord a little bit tighter. All right. So we're getting going here. I've got another series of knots to do. And then I'm going to put my bead on. Push our beads up right there. You can see that nice pattern going on. We're going to do 3 on this side, then we take, 3 on this side, 3 on the left side, 1 on each side, and bring them together to continue that pattern. Okay, so to answer a question that everyone's going to have, because the strands get shorter at different points in time. If you do a good job keeping your strands exactly where they are, and you'll notice here I did my next set started with my 3mm cubes, and then I'm going to go back to my turquoise after this. If one strand starts getting really shorter, one strand starts getting longer, right here is the perfect place to switch those cords. So I noticed my one on the right, I've been good, it stayed on the right, but it's getting shorter. So I'm going to take the longest one in this group and pop that out to the right to put on my next cube. Same thing, in the group on the left, take what was the longest one and pop that out on the left. And then by the time we go in here and put on these beads at the end, you can kind of make a fake out. It reestablishes the lines of the cord. You can also switch them after this knotting period in the middle as well. So you kind of push those beads out to the side, pull those cords into the middle. The beads will pop out to the side automatically. 4 cords go to the middle. As you're tying this first Snoopy knot here, just kind of push those beads out, pull the extra cords. See how there's like a little bit of a loop coming through. Pull those extra cords so the loop comes down to the center. See how I'm just kind of pulling those. That'll pop the beads out to the side. And you can continue with your pattern with very little notice that you've switched your cord lines. Going in here, continuing on. And in the middle here is another great place to do that. That when you're in the middle, these cords that are on the sides, you can switch them up. Makes it really easy. If you don't want your loops so close together, if you're deciding to do this as an anklet versus a bracelet, then certainly make more of the macrame knots here in the middle, spacing out your little round sections a little bit further. I'm going to go in now, separate out my cords. So now my longest cord is on the right. That's great. Put 2 more to the right, 2 more to the left, go in and start my beads. So this can be an anklet, a bracelet. It's really up to you. It looks cute on the ankle, especially with a pair of sandals for summer. You can do it on the bracelet here. And I have on my smaller wrist here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 groupings of beads. If you're going to do an anklet, you might need 9. You can go a little bit crazy too, and even do a choker if you want. I'm going to end mine with a blue cup button, which is kind of nice because I started with blue and my next object in my pattern is blue. And you can see that it has a hole going through it. So what I'm going to do is I've tied my last of my knots here at the end. I'm going to take my cord if I need to. Again, you can kind of burn it down and tie it. We'll see if it'll be nice and go through. My cord that's on the right-hand side, I'm going to go up through the button. I'm going to go down through the button. Might need to do a little snip here. Or you can do a little burn. See how I snipped that on an angle? Right through there. Take it right on towards the project. And then you can see this is where my knot is coming out the top. I'm going to go in and do my regular knot over the top of the cords, over the left-hand side, over the top of the threads, through the Snoopy nose, pulling that button right up as close as you can on top. And that'll pretty much put it right on center. I'm going to do 2 more knots. Snoopy on the left now. Snoopy on the right. You can, if you want to, do some more knots so it sits a little bit further off your last set of cubes or rounds or beads or whatever you decide to use. You can also do this without beads and it looks cute too. You're going to have, if you're a subscriber and got this in your kit subscription, you have a ton of extra knotting cord. So you can really play around even with some extra beads that you have in your studio as well. So here I have my cord coming out the back there. I'm going to do 1 more knot. Now remember, we made the loop at the top big enough for this button to go through. So I have no problem here with that button going through. And now what we want to do is just get rid of the extra cord. How are we going to get rid of the extra cord? Here is my favorite. This is where I say, burn, baby, burn. And this one ended up a little bit on the side. If you want, you can grab a center cord too. I'm going to grab a flamethrower or a lighter. That's the easiest thing to do. I can tie a knot. I'm just going to tie really tight here, all those pieces. We're going to leave ourselves about 1/4 inch there. Save these extra pieces. You never know what they're for or what you can use them for. And get ready with your lighter or your thread burner to burn all those edges down. All right, the reason I love this style lighter is because I can control it and my hands won't get hot. I have the little flame shooter here, and I'm going to turn on the lighter, go right up next to my piece, and you can see that synthetic is going to start burning right away. I do one side, let it go down. One side, let it catch on fire and go down. That's just going to ball it up there. And now we're going to do these ends. Let them catch on fire, go down towards the end with the tip of the lighter. Then I kind of press them down. It fuses them all together. If I need to, I can trim it down. I can do another little light to get it down a little bit further. Letting that melt down. You can take the end of a lighter and just kind of press that down. Go in then with your hand after it's done being super hot. Press that down and that button is there to go. And now you have your fun anklet bracelet all completed with that color in line. It's also really fun to just kind of practice with a scrap on that. You can see it'll stay lit for a little bit and then it eventually will go out when it touches another bead, or you blow it dry there. And then you can usually touch it onto a piece of plastic, kind of get that bald end off, or like I showed here, just kind of pull it. If it has a little bit of string left, you can also melt it down in that angle as well too. It's really fun, like I said, to challenge yourself to make the micro macrame, to try it out. You can make this look really elegant. It's very chic. I think it looks very Sundance catalog, and it's a nice addition for a summer or even winter wear with the black. The black adds a little bit of elegance. You can do it again with colors as well. Thanks so much for joining me in creating this fun little summer anklet, bracelet, even corded necklace if you want. Remember, if you want any materials or want to check out our kit subscription, look below the video in the description. There's links there to get back to our website. As always, if you haven't yet, hit that little subscribe button so you don't miss anything from us here at Potomac Beads. Thanks so much for taking up the challenge of this micro macrame bracelet, and stay tuned for more inspirational designs.